And we are live. All right, guys. This is the first live stream I've ever done in my studio here. This is kind of cool. Hopefully this works. Let me know if you guys can see me, hear me clearly, hopefully. Hello. I'm gonna actually open this up on my phone here. You guys are gonna hear some probably a little bit of echo for a second. Oh, darn ads. Huh, okay. Hello. Looks like it's working. So, yeah, welcome, guys. This is like I said, the very first live stream in studio. This is normally where we record the podcast, the Brave podcast. So a lot of you guys have been watching that, enjoying it, which is amazing. The only concern I had basically before starting this was whether our internet was good enough. And the reason why is because the building is kind of old and basically the lines are also old. But yeah, looks like everything is working, which I am happy about. Let me just double check something here. Wait for a few more you guys to pop in. Brave podcasts are bomb. Yeah, they've been a lot of fun so far. Just something different, something I've never personally done before. Cool. All right. Let's open up this live chat here so I can see what y'all are saying. I'm trying to see where the viewer count is on my screen. For some reason, it does not want to show it to me. I have no idea why. Okay, whatever. I mean, oh, there it is. Okay, so it says we got 86 people so far. Wow, that's amazing. Wow. Yeah, I'm just, I'm kind of happy that everything works. It looks like the camera is relatively clear. But yeah. So, again, welcome to the live stream. So something funny, I guess, to start off with. I do have a little bit of a plan for this, obviously. Something that I kind of wanted to go through. It was actually something that I was going to make a vlog video about. But honestly, I think I filmed it at some point, and honestly, I just never ended up posting it. So I figured, you know what, might as well just all watch it together, I guess. Super. But yeah, so I was talking to Lamar, who I am going to see in approximately like 40 something days or something like that. I was actually going to go to Nova Scotia and basically film some stuff with them. But unfortunately, they're super busy. I'm also super busy. So the time frame just didn't make any sense. And I decided not to go right now, but we're going to go later on. So yeah, anyways, he posted something about a puck wedgie, and I'm like, what is that? Like, it literally sounds like a joke, but he said it's a midget troll from native folklore. Laugh my behind off. Was one of the folklore myths when we went to the Bridgewater Triangle. Ha. So I know he did that. Yeah, I don't know if any of you guys have ever heard of a puck wedgie before, but I'm going to actually look this up because now I'm really curious as to what a puck wedgie is supposed to look like. What is this? This? What the heck? Hang on, let me switch the screens for you guys so you guys can see what I'm looking at here. Okay. There we go. Yeah, so apparently this is a puckwudgie. It kind of almost looks like, what is this? 20 facts about the puckwudgie. It kind of looks like a mutated hedgehog, if you ask me. I feel like I'm looking at some like sinister looking Sonic version of him anyways. That's super weird. I don't know. You guys ever heard of this before? Some kind of demonic entity. You, Lamar, and Chelsea on the Brave, dude. Yeah, I know. I really want to get them on the podcast. It'd be a lot of fun. Only problem is that they live approximately like 19 to 20 hours away from me. So it's a bit of a drive, you know, to do just one podcast episode. Enjoying me some coffee because I am tired. Need a little bit of caffeination. Somebody, Colorado Martini said, looks like a hedgehog. Yes, it actually does. It literally looks like a hedgehog. That's funny. Oh yeah, so basically, I'll wait for a few more of you guys to join because I'm pretty sure some people are just getting like delayed notifications. I did post it on Twitter and Instagram that we were going live here. But yeah, so for those of you who maybe have not seen the studio yet, this is pretty much our workspace here. Yeah, we got our TV, we got our fake palm tree, we got a lamp. So this is usually where my co-host would sit, Moshio. We got, you know, shelves with a Pokeball and a set of cactus coasters. And recently I also got 2 books that I'm going to read very, very shortly. One is the Constitution of the United States of America, and the other one is the Constitution of Canada. Although we don't really have much of one these days, but it is what it is. Let's see what you guys are saying here. Jeff's available exploring with Harley. You guys are doing great video together, collabing together. Thank you. Yeah, we were actually recently at L'Oreal Jail, which was a ton of fun. That place is super spooky and tons of history. It is regarded as the 2nd oldest jail in Canada. And I think it is the oldest jail in Ontario, which is my province where I live. Hello, Angelo from Germany. Shout out to Germany. But yeah, so what I wanted to do, just kind of for fun, because I thought it would be a fun thing to do on the live stream. Basically, I wanted to watch with you guys my very first paranormal video. A lot of you guys probably haven't seen it. Let's see what it's called here. It was on the what is now the 2nd channel. It's got 562 views, and I think it would be really funny to watch because I mean, I guess you would have regarded it as my first haunted video. Exploring an abandoned... Well, actually, there's multiple. Hang on here. So I got one video here that's a story. I mean, we can watch my first vlog, too. I think that would be really funny. To just laugh at myself. Why not, right? Alrighty, so far we got 112 people in here. Not too bad for, I mean, for a 3 o'clock stream. I'm not complaining. That's for sure. Like I said, I was just kind of hoping that this would work. And it did. Every time I go to type Angelo, I end up typing Angela, my name. Oh, yeah. A lot of people do that. I get a lot of comments. They're like, great video, Angela. And I'm just like, you know what, it just takes too much effort to correct everybody. So I've kind of figured it's just like, you know, an autocorrect thing sometimes. So, what do you guys say we watch? What do you guys want to watch first? Let me know in the comments below. Type 1 if you want to watch my very first vlog that I've ever done on this channel, or type number 2 in the chat if you want to watch my first haunted video. And it looks like there's 2, so I don't know. 1 or 2, let me know. Oh, we got number 2. Number 2 for haunted, 1 for vlog. The vlog is kind of funny. I remember I watched it a while ago. I might have actually done a reaction video at some point on it, but let's just react again. Two. We got lots of 2s. So I think watching our first ever haunted video, we may watch 2 of them. The POW camp, I don't think that was the very first one. No, I think there was something before that a lot of you guys have never seen before. Okay, let's do it. Let's pull up this video here. Okay, so the first one we have is Scary Haunted Church Cemetery Story. Got followed by a ghost. There we go. So yeah, we got the Exploring Haunted Abandoned Church Cemetery. And then we also have this one. I think this one's really funny. Let's do it. Let's do it. We're gonna do this live. All right. Let's load her up. Probably gonna have an ad first.
Did you know Square One pays out on over 90% of submitted home insurance claims? Visit Square One.
Hey, why did you pause?
.ca now.
Might be a little bit slow just because I got so much going on here. Let me turn off the audio until these ads are finished. Yeah, I hope everybody's having a wonderful day. Thank you for tuning in. It is currently 3:19. There we go. I can finally skip the ad. Hopefully this part works. So yeah, I used to have like this cheesy intro that I had made way back in the day because I thought it was cool. And I mean, it's like, it's not bad, but and then you have a little caricature of me. Oh my god, that's hilarious. So yeah, we got blurry, out of focus camera. So I remember I actually have the camera here. Today we are at an old jail. It is currently a museum in Brampton. This place was in operation as an actual jail for about 110 years. It's no longer active, obviously. Now it's just a museum. I am the only one here, which was true. I do believe that I was the only one there. So a little bit of context. This is a historic building here in Brampton, and basically it used to be an old jail. So there's like one jail cell that they had reconstructed and tried to make it look like it did back in the day. I find the most interesting part about this place is that supposedly it's haunted. So we're gonna try and see if we can find it. Yeah, there are like some stories that it is in fact haunted. So here we go. It is so quiet in here. I think the audio might be a little bit delayed, so just keep that in mind. Ooh, spooky wall, spooky dress. If I'm not mistaken, is the top floor where they have all the archives. Obviously, a lot of native stuff, which is pretty cool. A lot of history. Just looking through the peephole. Bunch of old clothing. I don't even know what the heck that thing is.
This old door, I wish I knew where it went.
Yeah, the audio to me is delayed. I don't know.
Oh, it's kind of hard to focus.
Okay.
There we go.
Yeah, so at the time, to be honest, I forgot to switch the video back to you guys, but at the time, really, I had absolutely no idea what the heck I was doing. Yeah, somebody said this was 5 years ago. It was 5 years ago. Holy crap. I didn't even realize like I've been doing this kind of stuff for that long. That's wild. But yeah, so the camera that I was using was like super shaky. I think it was a T5i or something like that. And the original lenses on those cameras were horrible. Like there was no stability whatsoever. Things were constantly out of focus. And it was just funny. To me, it's funny anyways. This is so awkward to watch. Just going back and watching old videos that I've made. It's funny. And we get the spooky music in the background.
What is that?
Hey, Brent TV is in the chat. This is like a Nadia ASMR.
Please do not touch.
Damn you, audio.
Oh, it's like Pioneer Village up in here. Look at that.
Oh, that was a sick shirt. I remember that shirt. I don't know what I did with it.
So that was basically the top floor. Not too much up here. Obviously no ghost disturbance.
Yeah, I don't even remember. I think I maybe heard like a weird creak or something. I think that was pretty much it. This was my like super exciting haunted experience, exploring a haunted old creepy prison. Heard weird noises.
So creepy.
Oh, okay. At this point, I think I was inside the cell.
That was insane. That dude at first.
That was one of the
glanced
other
at the
cells.
balcony. And there's another guy with him.
Yeah, they do look legit.
Ooh.
That's funny. I mean, it is what it is, right? I mean, people used to, you got to start somewhere realistically, right? Even if you don't know what the heck it is that you're doing. But yeah, somebody said I look so much younger. I mean, it was 5 years ago. I was, 27? That would have probably been 2018 or something like that. There was another video that I went to some cemetery somewhere, and it had like a really crazy... Why is this thing making so much noise? Can you quiet down, please? Okay. Hopefully that works. But yeah, I remember I had done this cemetery, and there's kind of a story behind this cemetery. I don't know if you guys have ever heard. I'll tell you guys the story. So basically there is this random church. As it turns out, the church is basically no longer in use, more or less abandoned. And basically I had heard this crazy story that somebody had gone there, and the reason why they had gone there was because they were involved in a cult. It was like this local cult or whatever. And essentially they were using this church. I believe it was like a United Church or something like that. I don't really remember anymore. Yeah, I think it was a United Church. I don't want to say the exact name because I don't really want people to go there and like break in and stuff like that, because it could be dangerous. So the story about this place was that essentially someone had gone there. They were a part of this cult, and they were doing, supposedly they were doing these cult rituals. Like they were literally bringing people there and supposedly murdering them and doing all sorts of crazy weird stuff. And basically this dude witnessed this ritual of them essentially murdering a woman, like a young woman, young adult, maybe a teenager. I don't know the specifics. right in front of him, and like they, to the point where they drugged her up and apparently cut open her chest and pulled out her beating heart and whatnot. And essentially he ran away, and apparently they had like tried to chase him and whatever. I think he was like running through fields and stuff, because there's literally nothing around there. It's all just farmland. So there's this one church and then there's just fields everywhere. So he ran away, and I don't know if they ever caught up with the guy, but I had never spoken to this person. I had heard this story through someone else, through a friend of mine. And basically I did some research and eventually found this church. And I don't think I had ever gone there, but the person that I heard the story from was like, nah, this is all BS, right? Like this doesn't sound legit. But he ended up going there. I think he went with like his brother-in-law or friend or something, and they parked directly across the street, and all of a sudden this van shows up, and the van, I guess they started like yelling at them and whatnot, and basically they ended up driving off, and this van like chased them all the way up the road. But unfortunately for the people in the van was not fast enough to keep up, so they got away. So many years later, of course, I hear this crazy story, and I'm like, okay, I don't know if this is real or whatever. At the time, I wasn't even doing YouTube stuff yet. YouTube came way after. I don't remember what I was doing at the time. And I was with this girl one night, and basically for some reason we got into the story about this church, what I had heard, and that it was, being essentially secretly run by a cult. And if you want to, I mean, I guess we can take a drive by. It was literally maybe 10 minutes away from where we were. And basically we start driving. We're coming up the road up to this church. It's super dark at this point, because keep in mind, it's all farmland. There's no street lights, anything like that. And basically I tell her that the church is coming up on the right, and I said, whatever you do, do not stop. And we get a little bit closer, and all of a sudden she decides she's gonna stop. She just pulls over right in front of this church, like on the side of the road. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, why are you stopping? There's no reason to be stopping. And I'm like, come on, just go. Let's just get out of here. And she's just like staring at this thing. And I'm like, what are you looking at? And she's like, and she like kind of snaps out of her this weird daze that she was in. And then she just finally decides she's gonna drive off. And that was that. And then we get down the road, and she's like, you didn't feel that? And I'm like, feel what? And she's like, the darkness, like the blackness. And it's like, what? I don't know what you're talking about. Like, I'm so confused right now, right? And we eventually go back to her place, and we're just hanging out, whatever. And we're talking about, for some reason we started talking about ghost stories. I don't even remember why. I don't remember who brought it up or what the reason was for that. And basically I just remember we were going to watch a movie. So we're sitting on her couch, and she had like a sectional couch, and where she was sitting was directly in front of this window. And I just remember looking at her, and she had like this black mist above her head, and it was like rubbing my eyes, trying to see, maybe I was just tired seeing things at this point. And yeah, I don't know what the deal was with that, but I'm like, I don't want to make you freak out right now, but there is this black mist directly above your head. And she's like, what? I'm like, yeah, there's literally a black mist just hanging out above your head. And she's like, oh my God, what? And I think eventually it went away or whatever, but then we went outside, and we're just standing outside, whatever. I was smoking a cigarette, and all of a sudden we start hearing noises at the side of her house. And she had like this really heavy duty wrought iron fence. This was her parents' house, so it was her parents had this like black wrought iron fence all in the backyard. And all we're hearing is the door of the fence to get into the backyard was opening and closing. And I'm like shining the light on my phone, and we don't see anything. And I'm like, I can clearly see that this door is closed. And I'm like, what is going on here? Like, what is opening and closing this door? Like, it's got like one of those clasp things. If you you guys probably understand what I mean, where when you close it, it stays completely shut, that you have to pull it up in order to open the door. So whatever, we're just standing there. A couple minutes later, it happens again. And I'm like, dude, okay, this does not make any sense. Unless there's someone in the backyard right now, which there shouldn't be, because the house had cameras everywhere, so they would have been notified had somebody been in the backyard. And so we're like, okay, this is getting really weird. And then like a couple minutes later, it happened again. And we're like, you know what? Let's just go inside. This is just getting ridiculous. And I don't remember if I saw the black mist before that or after that. This was such a long time ago. It was probably like almost 10 years ago at this point. And yeah, that happened. And then she was kind of spooked. So she's like, you're not going home tonight. Like you're just going to stay here. I'm like, okay, whatever. That sounds fine to me. So we're like, you know, trying to sleep and whatever in her little single bed, which was uncomfortable because, you know, 2 people in a single bed is not exactly ideal. And basically she was like turning over all night long, like completely restless for some reason. And she wasn't normally like that. And after that, the next morning she had to go to work. So I ended up leaving. A few hours later, she calls me and she's like, did you leave a black lighter in my room? I'm like, no, I don't think so. I have one black Bic lighter, which was she was talking about. And I went and checked, and the black Bic lighter was actually in my car. So it clearly was not mine. I don't understand how this random black Bic lighter ended up in her bed the morning after. Just didn't make any sense. She's like, every time I touch this lighter, it's hot. I'm like, okay, I don't know. That's weird. I don't know what to tell you, right? And yeah, I think it was her friend or somebody came over and she had found this lighter in her bed and asked her why there was a random black lighter in her bed, which literally made no sense. Let me grab a sip of coffee here. But yeah, so that was that. And then things got even stranger. She would call me almost every single night telling me that she could hear a child singing, right? And I'm like, what? She's like, yeah, no one's home, but I can hear like a little girl like humming. I'm like, okay, that's really, really strange. And basically at that point, I'm like, okay, something weird is going on. And I need to do something about this. And I end up running upstairs. I have like this special prayer, and I start reading the prayer. I didn't even tell her that I was doing that, but as soon as I finished the prayer, she goes, okay, the singing stopped now. It's gone. I'm like, okay, that's cool. Yeah. So there was that, and then things continued to get weirder. There was one day where she came over, and she was lying down on the couch, and my desk was directly behind the couch. So I'm just sitting there on my computer, just, you know, working away on something. I don't even remember what the hell I was working on. Before that, we were sitting there watching Friends, like the actual show Friends on Netflix. And that was at basically the point when she fell asleep. And so when she fell asleep, I paused Friends and I went to work a little bit on my computer for, I'd say, probably about an hour or something like that. And then all of a sudden she wakes up and she's like, oh man, we've been watching Friends for like 4 hours. And I'm like, what do you mean? We watched for half an hour, you fell asleep, and then I was on the computer taking care of some work. She's like, no, we've been sitting here the entire time watching Friends. I'm like, either you dreamt it, or I don't know, you're hallucinating. She's like, she was adamant that she was literally sitting there the entire time with me watching Friends. And I'm like, I can assure you that is not the case. That is not what happened. Yeah, so that was that for that day. And basically every night she was calling me saying, I gotta go back to the church. I gotta go back to the church. And I'm like, we are not going back to this church. Like never again. It's not happening. She was adamant. She's like, no, I have to go back. So I said, no, we can't go back. If there's a church you want to go to, it's going to be our church, like where we actually are part of the congregation. We're going to go there. That's the only church we are going to. And I don't know, she would call me every night and she said there was something attracting me to this church. And I'm like, dude, this is just getting insane. And every couple of nights, same thing. She would hear singing. She would hear people calling her. Her parents finally got home from this trip that they were on, and her father noticed that there were claw marks in the brick just outside of the window where she was sitting, where I had seen that black mist over her head. And yeah, she tells me about that. And then she was telling me about, for some reason, her room is ice cold. Like, to the point where she'd be sitting there and she'd breathe out and she could legitimately see the moisture, the fog coming out of her mouth. It was that cold, but it was only in her room. The rest of the house was totally fine. And yeah, it continued on for a while. And then after some time, I'm just like, okay, I got to do something about this. And I knew a girl, good friend of mine, who was a Wiccan witch, or whatever you want to call it. She was into Wicca. So I messaged her on Facebook and I'm like, yo, I need your help. And I explained to her what was happening. And she's like, honestly, dude, like, I've had so many crazy incidences that I really don't do this stuff anymore. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. But like, what can I do? And she's like, as an atheist, I'm just going to tell you, bring her to church. I'm like, really? She's like, yeah, that's probably the best thing you could possibly do. And also get rid of the lighter, because she thought that for some reason this weird item that had magically appeared in her bedroom, couldn't figure out where the hell it came from, might have been some sort of key to a portal. And yeah, so I basically tell her, I'm like, yo, we're going to church today. She's like, okay, for what? And I'm like, to get rid of whatever this thing is. Excuse me. So at this point, I was pretty well convinced that it was something obviously demonic, could have been dangerous. I don't know, is what it is, I guess. And so yeah, we end up going to the church. We pull up and I'm like, yeah, we're going to go inside. She's like, no, I can't. I'm like, why? It's our church. Like, we both, our families congregate here. Like, we've been coming to this church for a very long time. She's like, I know I can't go in. I had to literally almost drag her into the church. And we get to the doors and I could just see like in her face that she was totally hesitant. And I couldn't figure out why. It was just very strange. Didn't make much sense. And basically, finally I get her into the church. I light a candle outside of the actual, congregation hall. We go in, we sit there for a little bit and we're saying some prayers, and we come out and she's like, man, I feel a lot better. I'm like, yeah, no kidding. All you needed was Jesus. Right? And then after that, we ended up going to Professor's Lake, which is a place in Brampton that I frequent. So we're at Professor's Lake and I'm like, okay, take the lighter and just chuck it in the water. She's like, no, I can't do it. I'm like, just do it. Just do it, woman. Just do it. And finally she chucks it. And it was the weirdest thing because it was a tiny little Bic lighter, about that big. Throws it in the water, makes a little ripple. And all of a sudden, there was hundreds of ducks, just for some odd reason, all coming towards us. I don't know if it was maybe the sound of the lighter plopping into the water, or the ripple, which just attracted them all to it. But yeah, after that, I think pretty much everything ended. There was a couple of incidences where she would see some weird stuff periodically. I don't know if that was any connection to, I personally, I think that she just had an ability for being able to see, maybe, I guess, through the veil, you could say. But yeah, it was one hell of a crazy time. So maybe it was feeding time. I don't know. I have absolutely no idea. I think that it might have just been coincidental that for some odd reason the ducks just were all attracted to us throwing this random lighter into the lake. But yeah, it was very weird. There was probably a lot of other things that had happened and I just don't really remember anymore. But yeah, at some point I did end up like kind of investigating this place, and it was just such a weird location. That was actually where I met Mo Sargi for the very first time. He ended up losing his footage, but I had mine. It wasn't anything like a spectacular video by any means, I think. But I just remember it was funny because Mo and I had already started talking on Twitter, because I think he was looking for somebody to scuba dive with him. At the time, I was looking to get my scuba diving license, so it kind of worked out perfectly. And we had just started talking. He DM'd me, whatever. And at some point, I knew he was in the area. He was with Carlo and Aldo, and I knew he was in the area, so I messaged him. I'm like, yo, if you want somewhere interesting to film, I have this demonic church, I was calling it. He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, I have a crazy story for you about this place. If you want, let me know how long till you get there, and I'll just meet you there. And he's like, okay, we're gonna go there now. I'm like, okay, cool. I'll leave my place in 10 minutes, and I'll meet you there. So I just remember walking into, it's like a little tiny church, and it's basically the grounds has a cemetery. And I remember they were trying to hide from me, but silly Carlo didn't realize, or maybe he did realize, but I could clearly see this little tiny red light. So it's like their vehicle was obviously there, so I knew that they were there. And they were all hiding in the bushes or hiding behind tombstones or whatever. And I could just see Carlo's little tiny red light beaming from his GoPro, and I'm like, I can see you, right? And they're like, ah, damn it. I'm like, yeah, Carlo kind of gave it away because he has this really bright red light on his GoPro, and they thought they had me. But yeah, then I explained the story to them, and they're like, holy crap, that's creepy. And afterwards they're like, was the story true? I'm like, oh yeah. I don't know definitively about the whole cult thing. To me, that was just kind of hearsay, but the whole story about me and my girlfriend at the time was absolutely true. Like, that happened 100%. I can assure you there was no baloney about that. So, but yeah, that was that. Yeah, so what else is going on? Apparently there was some aliens in Las Vegas or something. I don't know if you guys heard about that. I kind of wanted to bring it up at some point, probably on the podcast. But yeah, so supposedly people have seen like some 10-foot tall creature. It's been caught on people's Ring cameras. There was a police officer's body camera that apparently caught the footage as well. You could just see this massive stream of light, kind of looked like a comet, and then it looked like it just kind of crash landed in somebody's backyard or something. I got no idea, but been hearing a little bit about it, and I don't know, aliens are kind of fascinating to me. And there was people who were reporting to have seen a tall 10-foot tall green figure just kind of there, and it kind of reminds me of the Virginia, Brazil story. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that one, but that's another crazy story. Similar type of story where essentially a spaceship or UFO crash landed on the outskirts of this little city, little town, and essentially there were a bunch of little alien creature figures that were seen or witnessed by other people around town. There's actually a movie about it. I think it's let me see if I can find the name of the movie so you guys know what I'm talking about. Just give me a second, guys. I'll pull it up here on IMDb. I want to say it was called Moment of Contact, something like that. I'll remember if I see it. Probably searched it, but it's not saved here for some reason. I have a whole bunch of other stuff saved. I got Dogma. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that. Moment of Contact. Yeah, here it is. It's by a gentleman named James Fox. He was actually on the Joe Rogan podcast, and that's where he first spoke about it. I'm like, yo, I gotta see this. He made a documentary, and I'm like, yo, I gotta see this documentary. He's going around town. He's interviewing the witnesses. He interviewed the mayor, and yeah, apparently these people, they all claim to be telling the truth, and the town itself is very famous. It's kind of like the Roswell, if you will, of Brazil. I don't remember specifically when the incident happened. It's probably like in the 80s or something like that, 80s, 90s, something like that. But it was pretty heavily reported at the time. So that's crazy. Heather, not... Hang on. Yeah, read this here. Thrifter, not hoarder. It's BS. Oh, are you talking about the Las Vegas thing? I don't know. I just saw a couple of videos. People have been talking about it. Then also some people are claiming that it's probably just a distraction from everything else going on. It's a conspiracy. Yeah. So I got this switcher thing here for the camera, and it's making this really loud noise. I hope that's not coming through the microphone. I'm trying to make it stop, but it's probably just because we're doing live and it's just like overloaded, or maybe because I spilled wine on it the other night. We were literally in the midst of filming a podcast, and sometimes I speak with my hands, and I had a glass of wine literally right here, and it just went bing. And it's just like half of it went onto Moshi, and part of it went onto this thing. Hopefully it's not broken, but it happens. I'm a mess sometimes. Yeah, it's picking. I can tell that I can hear it in the headphones. It's periodically picking it up, but if I'm speaking, apparently it's not too strong, overwhelming, I guess. How long have we been streaming here so far? Oh wow, 42 minutes. But yeah, so that was my crazy demonic story. There is a couple of videos about it from back in the day. I went there during the day with my friend Steve once. Didn't really get anything. But yeah, that was the early days of YouTube for me, trying to figure out what the heck I was doing. And then I was doing like all sorts of other weird, stupid videos that just... Like I made a first vlog, and I remember I did a reaction video about this. It was the first vlog. What did I title it? Tomato sauce and fixing the car. And the thumbnail is literally of like my car, which is kind of funny. And then I did crazy soccer / football jersey collection, because at the time I was collecting a lot of them. And then just other videos. Titanic, the ship that never sank, which was about the conspiracy. Terrifying true ghost stories. Yeah, just lame videos that just really didn't go anywhere, really. I did a what it's like to be Italian, which was meant to be funny. And then for a while, I was actually doing these videos about basically... Oh, there's the Kirby Road video. How many views is this thing at? 27,000 views. 5 years ago, I did this video with my friend Moshi, who is my co-host on the podcast. We spoke about it on there. And yeah, 5 years ago, I went and filmed this place called Kirby Road. It's not too far from here. I think it's in Vaughan, Ontario. It's not like super creepy over the top. It's actually kind of annoying and very hard to film because so many people hear about it, so they drive out there. But yeah, I've heard stories from other people where they've just been simply driving down the road and they had weird paranormal experiences. Gotta love when your coffee gets really cold. It's really good too, because it's the Van Hout Irish cream or whatever. Delicious freaking Keurig coffee. Yeah, we got a little bit of everything in this place. I know you guys can't see it right now, but basically, like, I have some cool display stuff. Eventually we're gonna get a couch for the other side. Make this place very homey for our guests. But yeah, we offer wine, beer to our guests, coffee, you know, water, pop, iced tea, whatever, things like that. Make it a fun and enjoyable experience for all. Keep on keeping on, Angelo. Thank you. I will keep on keeping on. Yeah. lately I've been doing a little bit of research. So I got obsessed for a little while ago with space stuff, like space exploration and ships and stuff like that. I would watch all sorts of documentaries, and I just got super fascinated with it. I think it was after I was in Florida and I went to the NASA center down there, which is really cool. If any of you guys have the opportunity to go to it, the Kennedy Space Center, it is unbelievable. They have the actual spaceship inside the building of I believe it was called the Atlantis. It was the last shuttle, essentially, that ever flew. And then now it's been taken out of commission, and they just don't do that stuff anymore. I think it was just money-wise, it was just wasn't feasible, and I think they lost the funding for stuff like that from the government. Is what it is, I guess. Damn, this thing is super annoying. Maybe if I just gonna try and fix this. Give me a second, guys. That's not so bad now. I had to like turn it. It's really stupid because it's supposed to be flat on the table. But for some reason, I think it's a defect in the actual machine. It's called the A10 Mini Pro. And basically what you do is you plug all the HDMI cables into this one machine, and then you literally just press a button just like this. And you're able to switch the view instantaneously, so that way I don't have to go and edit things again later on. But yeah, for some reason the fan has an issue, and I think it's hitting something on the inside, and I swear to God I'm just going to end up throwing it out the window at some point because it's just annoying me. Because I hate noise. Like, why do I have to hear this noise? Somebody said they like the warning, beware of chickens. Yeah, I thought it was funny, so bought it, put it there, and it's basically in the shot. But yeah, good to know, because Moshi and I actually would like to do some live podcasts, and I think it'd be a lot of fun and engaging, obviously, with you guys over there. So good to know that the internet is good enough to actually handle it, because that was my only concern, because I only have, like I said, slow internet over here, 10 megabytes per second upload, which sucks, but I guess it is good enough to send a feed from OBS into YouTube, and you guys can watch us live, which is cool. Yeah, we have another guest coming on next week who is a friend of mine from high school. He's also a rapper. Somebody's asking whose guitar is that? The one that's on the wall here that you cannot see from this angle on YouTube. That is actually my guitar. I had that since I was like in grade 9 or 10 or something like that. I used to play guitar way back when. I used to be in a band, and we played some heavy stuff, I guess you could say, which is really funny because we used to play like punk rock, heavy metal. I mean, not like super, super heavy metal, but like emo, hardcore, post-hardcore type of stuff. And it was fun. I had a lot of fun doing it. That was, you know, back in the day, I had much longer hair, and periodically I'd put black eyeliner because I thought I was very punk rock. So how it all kind of started was basically there was a talent show that was happening in elementary school, and it was me and my friend Ryan, and we both played guitar. And we made friends with a guy named Steve that I will hopefully have on the show very soon. Actually, he messaged me earlier today. He's like, yo, I got an extra ticket to Alexis on Fire tonight. I'm like, unfortunately, I cannot make it. I got things to do. And yeah, so basically we ended up teaming up, and we put this little band together, 3-person band. We couldn't find anybody. We knew people who played bass, but but unfortunately, oh damn, I clicked the wrong button. Oh, let me just click close here. Yeah, so unfortunately we couldn't find any bass players at the time, so they had to be within, like, I think a certain grade or whatever, or maybe it was because nobody was playing bass as of yet, because I had another friend named Fabian. I remember him playing bass, but that might have been later. So literally it was 2 guitarists and a kick-ass drummer named Steve. He was really, really good. By the time we were like 12 to 13, he was really, really good. And I remember playing a song from the Used, and I think it was Buried Myself Alive, because we were just like, this cool punk kids in grade 7. So we ended up doing this talent show, and then after that we basically just kind of like started trying to form this band. And then come high school time, I made another friend named Stefano, and he was a bass player, so I would go to Stefano's house and we would jam and whatever. And then for a while, I was kind of like bouncing around with other musicians, and we eventually formed a band. I don't even know if we had a name. I think I had come up with a name, which was called Identity Crisis, which made sense because we couldn't come up with a name and we were having an identity crisis. So I suggested that as a possible name. Yeah, that was fun. But yeah, basically we never really did many shows, like gigs at like bars and, things that you would normally do going into music, starting a band. We were normally the house party band. So anytime there was a house party coming on, we would get the band together and we would perform live, and it was an absolute blast. I remember, I think one of the only gigs I heard of this event going down at this cafe, and I had read it. It was like, beatnik show, this music, whatever. At the time I didn't know what beatnik meant. Apparently a beatnik is kind of like they would classify themselves, I guess, as like a sophisticated hippie. So if you could imagine somebody who was kind of like a hippie, long hair, peace, kumbaya, drink wine and whatever. That's basically my description of a beatnik. But yeah, so basically we end up at this cafe, and it was hilarious because there was all these like, people playing acoustic music, and it was just very light, and the music was nowhere near what we were playing, and the music that we were playing was very, very heavy. I remember we played in a song by Atreyu. If you guys know Atreyu, they're relatively like a post-hardcore kind of somewhat heavy band. And then we played a Blink song, and it was really funny because there was this guy who made a song about us, and it's I think the song was called "It Takes Balls to Do a Blink-182 Cover," and I'm like, okay, like what? I thought it was hilarious because he was like, I guess, in a mockingly joking way about us, and I just thought it was freaking hilarious. Yeah, there was one event that we did. It was a house party. It was my friend's 16th birthday. We had an older friend who obviously was able to buy alcohol, because the legal age to buy alcohol in Canada is 19. Obviously, we were not old enough, so we asked our friend to do it for us. And us, as the band, came up with an idea that we would basically hide all the booze in our bags and bring it into this girl's house, literally right in front of her parents. It was horrible. And we ended up bringing all these bags into the basement, and we just kind of, hid everything behind their furnace. And then, anybody who wanted a drink at the party, and let me tell you, a lot of people had some drinks. And her parents had no clue until the end of the night, and then they kind of figured out what was going on. But yeah, we were pretty trashed. We did play live that night, and it was fun, to say the least. I enjoyed it. But yeah, good times had by all. But yeah, this has been a fun live stream. I really just wanted to test out the system, make sure this works. I'll probably do more in the future. That's pretty much it. Let's read some of your chats. I love Blink-182 Adam's song. I don't even remember what song. It might have been Adam's song. No, I think it might have been Stay Together for the Kids. I don't know. There was a whole bunch of songs that we all knew. We knew how to play Adam's song. We knew how to play Stay Together for the Kids. What other song? Carousel. all that stuff. It was a good time. Come to Jesus and be saved. Thank you. But yeah, that's pretty much it. A little bit of update as well. Gonna be basically filming local for the next 2 weeks, give or take, and then I am headed off to Alberta, and BC. Maybe I'll do a fan meetup if there's a lot of you by chance in Calgary. Maybe I'll do one there, or maybe in Vancouver, whatever ends up happening. Dragonheart, thank you so much for the adorable sticker of the floof holding the heart. Yeah. But yeah, so I'm going out there. Sorry, I got distracted there for a second. Yeah, so I'm heading out to Alberta, BC, and then I'll be coming back. I'm going to be out there, I think, for 10 days. Excuse me. I don't know exactly what I'm going to be filming. I will be filming vlogs. I'll probably do a live while I'm out there. Might as well. I know I did last time when I was in Canmore. But yeah, we should be heading to Banff at some point, because Banff is amazing and beautiful, and I've always wanted to go during the summer when it's actually warm, because the last time we went there it was a little bit cold. But yeah, so we're going to be doing that, and then what's after that? I don't think I'm really doing anything until like the end of the month, so we'll see. And then at some point, probably in August, I'm going to be heading out east to Lamar and Chelsea and hang out with them for hopefully a week, week and a half, whatever it ends up being. Hopefully go to Cape Breton, maybe PEI again. Maybe I'll even go to Newfoundland. I have no idea. I don't know what my exact plan is yet, but it should be fun. Yeah, there's a bunch of places that I've just really been wanting to do. They're all in Canada, and I really want to experience them in the dead of summer when it's actually hot, because the weather here sometimes is hit or miss, and I know we're going through some cold snaps at the moment, and the weather has just been weird. I know even in the US in certain areas it's been much colder than it normally is at this time of year, and we've been experiencing kind of the same thing. I'll go out at night and film in the forest or whatever, and it's chilly. It's actually pretty cool. Not the good kind of cool either, but yeah. So that is pretty much it. We've almost gone an hour on here. I'll probably do more of these in the future. Might as well. This was a good, fun little test run. I'm just glad everything worked the way it's supposed to. But that is pretty much it for now. So I will see y'all in the next video. I am currently editing probably one of the craziest paranormal videos I've ever done. It was in Texas when Frank was still around. It's of the Goatman's Bridge. And it was a crazy experience, and I've just been honestly nervous to look at the footage again, but I am working on it. I'm not sure exactly when I'm going to have it up, but hopefully within like the week or so. In the meanwhile, you'll probably get more Radionautica content. We're in the midst of booking a haunted location, one that we've done before, but we have a different idea that we want to do for this. So we're going to probably do that soon as well. But in the meanwhile, I just want to say thank you so much for hanging out, and smash that like button. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.